Approaching Storm Clouds, the U.S. Economy in 2024. The U.S. economy faces uncertainty as 2024 unfolds. Experts predict a potential downturn, a shift from the robust growth of recent years. This analysis will explore the role of government policy, examining whether missteps or inaction have exacerbated economic vulnerabilities. We will also consider the interconnectedness of the global economy, analyzing how international events might ripple across borders to impact the U.S. By understanding the potential challenges ahead, we can better prepare for them and advocate for policies that promote economic stability and resilience. The way to policy, navigating uncertain waters. In today's complex and interconnected world, the role of government policy in steering the economic ship cannot be overstated. Government policy plays a pivotal role in shaping economic outcomes. Decisions made in the halls of power ripple through the economy, affecting businesses, consumers, and global markets. Prudent fiscal and monetary policies can stimulate growth, curb inflation, and mitigate risks. These policies are the tools that can either propel an economy forward or hold it back. Conversely, missteps or inaction can exacerbate vulnerabilities and contribute to economic downturns. Poorly timed or ill-conceived policies can lead to prolonged periods of economic stagnation or even recession. One area of concern is the effectiveness of recent fiscal stimulus measures. While these measures aim to provide immediate relief, their long-term impacts are often debated among economists. While intended to bolster the economy, excessive spending can fuel inflation and increase national debt. Balancing short-term needs with long-term fiscal health is a delicate act. The Federal Reserve's efforts to combat inflation through interest rate hikes, while necessary, risk slowing economic growth. These actions must be carefully calibrated to avoid triggering a downturn. Political gridlock and short-term thinking can hinder the implementation of sound economic policies, potentially amplifying economic challenges. Effective governance requires foresight, collaboration, and a commitment to the greater good, ensuring that policies are not just reactive but also proactive in addressing future uncertainties. Global headwinds, ripples in the interconnected economy. The U.S. economy does not exist in a vacuum. Events in distant corners of the world can have ripple effects that are felt on American shores. The ongoing war in Ukraine has disrupted global supply chains, fueled energy price volatility, and contributed to inflationary pressures. Similarly, China's economic slowdown has implications for global demand and supply chains. Trade disputes and geopolitical tensions can create uncertainty in global markets. External shocks and global economic downturns can spill over into the U.S. economy, even if domestic fundamentals are relatively strong. Domestic fault lines, cracks in the foundation. Internal vulnerabilities within the U.S. economy could contribute to a potential downturn in 2024. These vulnerabilities are not new, but have been building up over the years, creating a fragile economic environment that could easily tip into recession. One significant concern is the persistently high level of income and wealth inequality in the U.S. This disparity has only grown wider, with the richest individuals and corporations amassing more wealth, while the middle and lower classes struggle to keep up. Decades of stagnant wages for many Americans, coupled with rising costs for healthcare, education, and housing, have left a significant portion of the population struggling to make ends meet. The cost of living continues to rise, outpacing wage growth and putting additional financial strain on families. This lack of purchasing power among a large segment of the population can dampen consumer spending, a major driver of economic growth. When people have less money to spend, businesses suffer. leading to a vicious cycle of reduced economic activity and job losses. The U.S. faces significant infrastructure challenges, with underinvestment leaving critical infrastructure in dire need of repair or modernization. Roads, bridges, and public transportation systems are deteriorating, which can hinder economic productivity and growth. Addressing these domestic fault lines is essential for building a more resilient and equitable economy. By investing in infrastructure, education, and healthcare, and by implementing policies that promote fair wages and reduce inequality, the U.S. can create a stronger foundation for future growth and stability. The looming debt dilemma, a story of unsustainable borrowing. The U.S. national debt continues to cast a shadow over the economic outlook. The COVID-19 pandemic exacerbated the debt situation with increased spending and reduced tax revenue. Addressing the national debt requires both spending restraint and revenue enhancements. This will require difficult political choices, balancing fiscal responsibility with economic growth and social programs. Failure to address the debt issue could lead to higher interest rates, inflation, and slower economic growth. Finding a sustainable fiscal path will require political will, bipartisan cooperation, and tough choices. Trade winds and imbalances. Navigating the global marketplace. International trade is a cornerstone of the U.S. economy, but persistent trade imbalances raise concerns. The U.S. has long run a trade deficit, importing more goods and services than it exports. Excessive imbalances can contribute to job losses in certain sectors and increase reliance on foreign borrowing. Addressing trade imbalances requires negotiating fairer trade deals, investing in education and training, and promoting innovation. It also requires addressing unfair trade practices by other countries. By pursuing a balanced and strategic approach to trade, the U.S. can harness the benefits of globalization while mitigating its potential downsides. The dollar's uncertain future, a symbol of strength under pressure. The U.S. dollar has long been the world's reserve currency, conferring numerous benefits on the U.S. economy, such as lower borrowing costs and increased global influence. However, the dollar's dominance is not guaranteed. Several factors are putting pressure on the dollar's status, including the rise of other currencies like the euro and the Chinese yuan, and concerns about the long-term fiscal health of the U.S., such as growing national debt and budget deficits. A weakening dollar can make U.S. exports more competitive on the global market, but can also lead to higher inflation, which erodes the purchasing power of American consumers. Maintaining the dollar's status requires addressing the underlying factors eroding confidence in the dollar. This includes managing the national debt, reducing political polarization, and maintaining economic stability. Additionally, fostering global cooperation and implementing sound economic policies are crucial to sustaining the dollar's role. The future of the U.S. dollar will depend on the ability of policymakers to navigate these challenges and adapt to a changing global landscape. The human cost, economic challenges, and everyday Americans. Economic indicators and financial data provide insights into the health of the U.S. economy. But behind these numbers are real people. Rising inflation erodes the purchasing power of wages, making it more difficult for families to afford basic necessities. Job losses in vulnerable sectors can create financial hardship and uncertainty. The lack of affordable housing forces families to make difficult choices. Addressing these human costs requires policies that promote economic opportunity and security for all Americans. This includes investing in education, expanding access to healthcare, raising the minimum wage, and strengthening the social safety net. A crossroads for the U.S. economy, charting a course for stability. The U.S. economy stands at a crossroads. By acknowledging potential risks and making informed policy choices, the U.S. can navigate the turbulent waters ahead. This requires a long-term perspective, prioritizing sustainable growth and shared prosperity. It demands fiscal responsibility, investments in education and infrastructure, and policies that promote innovation. By embracing pragmatism and collaboration, the U.S. can chart a course toward a more stable, equitable, and prosperous future for all.